also coming up with a different figure, and the sitting governors are also coming up with different figures.
The private sector
even
also.
The private sector also. So you can see that there is no uniform figures as far as the national minimum wage is concerned. And even among the sitting governors, some are disagreeing with what others are paying. Others have already commenced payment, while others are saying they can't even pay up to that. And others are just implementing the 30,000 minimum wage. So you can see that there is a whole lot of disagreement even among the governors. So what Bola Ahmed Tinubu did is what I had actually anticipated, for him to consult widely and to ensure that all governors have come to terms with a uniform minimum wage. But as it is now, the crux of the matter will be with the sitting governors, because they are the ones who will have to come up with a uniform minimum wage. And one of the major and contentious issues that is likely to come up is for those states that have already started benefiting from the minimum wage as being prepared by their sitting governors, that will actually have to contend with, because Edo State, Lagos State are already paying 70,000 naira, and you can see that Zamfara State is just starting the payment of 30,000 naira minimum wage, and other governors are saying they can't even pay up to that 60,000 naira minimum wage. The organized private sector is saying they can only pay 60,000 naira. So you can see it is a whole lot of chaotic situation, and there is no way the federal government can come up with a particular figure and say this is the national minimum wage, else other states will be in trouble.
I thought the tripartite committee represented all these major stakeholders, and they have been sitting and deliberating on issues, which a representative coming from the state governors, which are state governors,
exactly
supposed to be feeding their forum.
I agree with you. Whenever there is a committee, the committee will definitely submit its report, but the report is also subject to scrutiny by also another committee that will be set up by the president. That is how minimum wage is being negotiated.
But don't you think it is a delay tactics still using by the federal government?
Not really, because when you talk of minimum wage, it is something that is of national interest and should not be taken with levity. A national minimum wage is supposed to last for 10 years. And you don't hurriedly pass something that will be there for the next 10 years and put the citizens in a kind of precarious situation. I believe that the government is likely to come up with a national minimum wage that will be uniform, even though not acceptable by all, but that which will be uniform by all the states, by the federal government, the local government, and even the organized private sector, because it will continue to rage on and on in such kind of chaotic situation if, for example, Mr. President decides to approve 62,000 naira minimum wage. What of the governors who have already started paying 70,000 naira? What will happen to their labor unions in those states? You can see that those states will definitely start boiling, and the labor unions will not agree to reverse back to 60 or 62,000 naira minimum wage. What of Zamfara State that is just commencing the payment of 30,000 naira minimum wage? Looking at
so many years of its implementation,
yes.
partial implementation in some states and
non-implementation in places like Zamfara. Non-implementation completely.
But was there no constitutional provision for defaulting in adhering to the minimum wage in the country? What happened to the labor union in these states?
Well, you have the National Wages and Commission that is saddled with that responsibility, and it is supposed to look into such matters, the constitutional provisions, and even the appropriate sanctions that are supposed to be there. But I believe that left to the governors, they won't pay that 60,000 naira minimum wage. Majority of the governors. And I believe that even places like Lagos and Edo State that hastily went into the payment of the 70,000 naira minimum wage are likely to reverse back to whatever is agreed at national level. Because don't forget that Edo State, for example, is likely to have a new governor that will be coming in anytime soon after the elections. And you can see that places like Lagos State, despite their monumental revenue drive, they are likely to retain that 70,000 naira minimum wage because it's something that they can pay. Their civil service size is manageable and is reasonable when you juxtapose what they are earning as revenue and, of course, the size of the civil service. But the major contentious issues will be in some state in the southwestern state as well as the southeast and the whole of the north. These are places where we continue to have problems because many of the states in the north, for example, may not be able to pay that 60,000 naira minimum wage. I say may not be able to because nearly all the 19 northern states are already heavily indebted and are paying heavily in terms of servicing their debts. So you realize that whatever is being allocated to them as from the FAC allocations, the majority of that allocation goes into repayment of debt. And because of that, I am foreseeing a situation where many of those states in the north may not be able to cope with that. And if the Nigerian Labour Congress continue to press the government further, the tendencies are that there could be retrenchment, mass retrenchment from federal level to state level. And if there is mass retrenchment, it will also add to a whole new vista on our social problems, especially now that we are still grappling with the issue of insecurity. We are grappling with the issue of austerity, poverty, hunger, the issue of inflation, acute inflation that have come to, characterize our transaction system. So I foresee a situation where the national minimum wage have to renegotiate it again, because you have to come up with a national minimum wage that is not just paying but sustainable. Because when you pay, you have to keep paying for the next 10 years. It will be foolhardy for the federal government to agree that it is going to pay this amount, and after paying for 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6 months, and the government becomes indebted to civil servant. That will not augur well for us. And if the government is being pressured, it is likely going to toe the path of retrenchment. Don't forget that the country, like I said, is broke, even though this is a hard pill that so many people are finding very difficult to swallow. But the crux of the matter is Nigeria is broke. Forget about the affluent lives of politicians. Forget about the monies that are being stolen left, right, and center. Forget about the display of wealth that some microscopic few Nigerians are exhibiting. The country is broke. That is the crux of the matter. Whether we like it or not, Nigeria is broke and is heavily indebted. And as it is now, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, is the one controlling issues in Nigeria. And whether we like it or not, that is how it is going to remain. You can see that the Dangote refinery that everybody had depended upon to have succor in terms of the price of oil, already the international oil companies are refusing to supply crude oil to Dangote refinery. And he has to go out and buy crude oil to come back home, refine, and then sell to Nigerians. And what do you expect? He will sell at international market price. So these are issues that are there. And unless this thing is being renegotiated again, otherwise I do not foresee the government being able to pay this.
Okay, the labor union are also warming up because of this delay in the implementation of the new minimum wage. What are we expecting from the labor union at this critical moment?
Well, the language of strike has always been there, which has always been the first option. The negotiations. And when negotiations fail, of course, the next thing is strike. And the labor union had tried all of this, and they appeared not to make much impact. First, it has negotiated. It has been negotiating since the era of Ngige, and that negotiation appears not to be having any headways. and then it has also told the path of strike. And strike appeared to have little effect because the Nigerian Labour Congress itself is not fully implementing the idea of strike. If you are striking, strike in such a way that the whole of the country will be brought down.
I think the last strike
that is what we call
the
strike.
magic. The last strike.
It doesn't do much magic like that. We had anticipated that will have been the opportunity that will have forced the government to do the needful. But of course, you know, there are some departments here and there that remain operational even when that strike was on. If the labor union had wanted to go on a very complete and comprehensive strike, it should have been able to lock down the country completely, so that wherever revenues are being generated are being locked down completely. You can imagine, for example, places like the Tinkan Island, the wharf, and all of those ports in Lagos being shut down for 24 hours. The government knew what it is losing. You can imagine if the borders of Nigeria are being shut down completely, and even customs and immigration couldn't generate anything. You can imagine what the government is losing per day. So these are areas, and then even the national grid, the electricity, and then coming down to social services like the hospitals, the markets, and all of that. You can imagine, but you know, the market is usually the last place to be closed down. When it is being closed down, you know what will follow next. It will be civil unrest. But you know, the labor union had allowed markets to continue even with the strike. So I believe that the government shouldn't take this thing with a glove hand. It's a serious matter. It's a serious national matter. And right now, Nigerians are in a state of anger and what I also call hungry, because hungry is a mixture of hunger and anger. When you mix them together, it's a new terminology. Nigerians are in a state of hungry, and the government need to do much more than it is doing at the moment to cushion the effect of this situation that we're in now. This is not the time to showcase wealth. This is not the time to show affluence. And this is the time to manage public utterances. Because as a public figure, you have to manage your utterances. When you want to say something, weigh it seriously before you say it out. I heard Akpabio commenting about buying a new plane for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I think that statement is an insult on the eyes of the Nigerian citizens who have elected him, who are generating the money that he is living upon, who are protecting him, and who are providing all other services for him. Agreed, we know the life of Mr. President is very important, but the life of an average citizen in Nigeria is equally very important. If all the citizens die, who will vote for him? If all the citizens die, who will protect him? If all the citizens die, who will produce the food he is eating? If all the citizens die, how can he move from one place to another? If all the citizens die, all of those luxuries and affluences around him will be useless. He himself will be useless and will continue to live in perpetual fear, because all of these ordinary citizens that he has insulted are the ones who gave him the comfort that he's living on today. So I believe that Senate President, in a much more saner climb, will have recanted his statement and apologized to the Nigerian citizens. But you know, of course, the average politician in Nigeria has this air of arrogance. And when they are seeking for election, they mellow down and humble themselves. But once they move into the office, you see the attitude of arrogance will creep in again. And I think this was what was exhibited by the Senate President, and is unacceptable, is unaccepted by the Nigerian citizens. It is an insult on the eyes of the Nigerian citizens, and people will continue to look at him on that, with that eyes. And that will also come back to haunt him in the future. I believe he has an ambition. Even though he's aging, his ambition will never wane. He will continue to nurse that ambition, and the citizens will wait for him. This statement will come back to haunt him in the future.
All right. So it is the political leaders that have a say in this current situation. If you look at, of recent, their own take-home package was increased here and there, and still Nigerians are living in absolute penury.
Yes, of course.
And they are the voters.
One thing that a lot of people need to understand is that the Senate, as an arm of government, as that arm as of the legislative arm of the government, has already seized the country. I'm afraid even the government is firmly under the armpit of the Senate.
How?
The Senate have grown so strong that only what they want will be done in this country.
They are representing.
They are representing. Agreed.
Their constituencies.
Constitutionally, they represent the people. But when it comes to operational, they represent their interest. And it is only what they wish and what they want that will be done in this country. And you can see, for example, when the national anthem was changed for personal for the personal interest of one individual, 814 billion naira was said to have been spent to change the national anthem alone. Nobody
to introduce
the old national anthem. 814 billion naira went down the drain. For what? One will continue to ask this question.
Was there a debate before such huge amount of money?
We want to see the breakdown on how the government came about spending 814 billion naira just to revert back to the old anthem. So, these ordinary are issues that will have made Nigerians to rise against the government. But Nigerians have been subjected to abject penury that we lack the capacity to even protest. Public protests have been brought down to its knees, such that Nigerians have been reduced to perpetual bondage and poverty striking, such that we will never think of anything. The capacity to organize ourselves as ordinary Nigerians have been taken away from us, and poverty has been injected. Even if you are a civil servant today, what is your salary? It is simply a drug administered to you once in every month to make you forget your dreams.
090388088883 is the number to call in. Of course, make your comments, or you can post your comments on our Facebook page, Prestige FM Mina, and we're streaming live on our Facebook page, Prestigefm91.7mx, on YouTube channel, that is Prestigefm91.7mx, and on radio app, prestigefmradio.org.ng. Hello, good morning. Okay. We have some comments on our Facebook page. This one coming from Sanusi Muhammad, saying we are together from Kaduna State. Thank you, Sanusi Muhammad. Umar Ang Azmi is saying the report was submitted more than 2 weeks ago. That is more than enough time for consultation if the government consider it a priority. For a government that promised a living wage, this reluctancy leave a sour taste. Thank you, Umar Ang Azmi, for that comment on our Facebook page. Alhaji Nagi Abdul Malik, okay, I greet you especially. Thank you for that comment. Aliu A. Yahaya, including NLC, private sector, and some states governors are the most selfish group of individuals, and federal government is the most nonchalant of them all. They have exploited their workers and freely increased the prices of their goods to their wills, but dragging on the issue of their workers' welfare. The minimum wage is yet to be agreed, but the price of goods have skyrocketed. Anyhow, without any control, bringing back fuel subsidy is not an option. So, what is the way out? Honestly, what is the way out? Hello, good morning. Okay, 090388088883 is the number to call in. Of course, make your comment, or you can post your comment on our Facebook page, Prestige FM Mina. That is Prestige FM Mina. Okay, doctor, still no minimum wage, but just like what's the comment coming from Aliu A. Yahaya said, no minimum wage yet, no new minimum wage yet our commodities in the market, high cost of living daily in Nigeria. How can Nigerians cope in this situation?
That is the crux of the matter. In some more senior climes, look at what is happening in Kenya, for example. The youth came out to seize the entire country because of these issues. Theirs is not even as intense as ours. Nigerians, thank God we have citizens that are very patient, citizens that are very tolerant, citizens that can take in a lot of hardship. The problem that will make a Nigerian to come on the street, if it happens in another country, the entire country will be brought down. But you can see that in our own situation, we try as much as possible to tolerate issues and to tolerate situations. As hard as living is today, many Nigerians are still hoping that things will revert back to normalcy. And the government is not making enough effort to do all of these things. And already we are in a very deep trap set by the IMF. Nigeria has borrowed left, right, and center from the last administration to now, such that the IMF is now the one dictating what should be done. And IMF policies are always anti-masses policies. And right now, the government have no option than to dance to that whims and caprices of the IMF, because it borrowed from the IMF, and IMF will want to recoup. And in the process of recouping, it is not about the welfare of the citizens. It is about maximizing profit by the IMF. And the government is already neck deep in problem. And we just hope that this government will think outside the box and do the necessary things that will cushion the life of average Nigerian.
Hello, good morning. Okay, 0903-880-8883 is the number to call in, and of course make your comment. Or you can post your comment on our Facebook page, Prestige FM Mina. That is Prestige FM Mina. And we're streaming live on our Facebook page, Prestigefm91.7mx. And on YouTube channel, Prestigefm91.7mx. And on radio app, prestigefmradio.org.ng. Hello, good morning. Hello? Okay. It seems like we're having some challenges with the phone line, but you can still reach out to us. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay. It seems like we're having some challenges with the line. Let's see if we can get across to us. Hello. Hello. Okay, let's see. But still, okay, hello.
Good morning, ma.
Morning, sir. Can you speak up a bit?
Oh, for the flag.
All right, sir.
I really want to talk about the senator concerning the national anthem. I the radicals need all their own way. Is that what we want in Nigeria, all the situation we're passing through? I urge the senators to remember that they were voted by people, not themselves voted themselves. So we are waiting for them. 2027. See how they will go back by the grace of God.
All right, thank you very much. 0903-880-8883 is the number to call in, of course, make your comments, or you can post your comments on our Facebook page, Prestige FM Mina. Hello, good morning. Good morning, sir. Who do you have for the line? All right, make your comments. Can you speak up a bit, please?
Yes, my comment this morning is I want to be neutral in this problem. Minimum wage. So I want the government to look at the situation of Nigerians right now and do something about it. And the Nigerian Labour Congress should also look at the problems the government is facing financially and do something about it. I just want them to consider all these things so that we can have a headway. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. 0903-880-8883 is the number to call in, of course, make your comments. Hello, good morning.
Good morning,
Morning, sir.
Dr. Dantala, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, sir.
When Dr. Dantala was making some comment, I thought you were shivering. Don't be scared. This is exactly what we expect every Nigerian to do. You only die once, and struggle continue. Either you said the truth or you did not say the truth. If it is time for you to go, you will surely go.
Dr. Dentala, I appreciate you. Another challenge. I am ready to stand by you at the same time to stood by you. Continue to stand by you. As for a faithful and grateful citizen or servant of God, minimum wage or no minimum wage, we shall survive. But that's like you should be able to look at it in this way. Every responsible and sensitive Nigerian knows where does the problem lies. And those that are our problem, number one, take it or leave it at the Senate. The rep are also behind it. I am telling you, if these two bodies were able to do the right thing, who is the governor, who is the president, almost every other person will also do the right thing. But this is our problem. I want to assure all Nigerians that the best of what we can do is to return back to God. The leaders we're having.
Missed that call. Okay, going back to God to bring an end to the current situations in Nigeria. 0903-880-8883. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Morning. Morning, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. It's Obasanjo from Amali.
All right, Obasanjo, make your comment.
Thank you. On minimum wage issue, Dr. Dantala and Tinemuna has been saying, you have defined it all. And my own to add up, I don't even think that there's no local government that will not pay, or there's no state that will not pay 70,000 naira minimum wage. If you can come back to your state, Dr. Dantala, do you know how much SSA is collecting? Do you know how many SSA the present governor appointed? Do you know the least SA is collecting 80,000 naira? The least SSA is collecting 80,000 naira. There's ones that are collecting 300,000. There's ones that are collecting 200,000. There's ones that are collecting 170,000. And a civil servant that they will all convert during the elections. So we said all civil servants together, we will add more wage for you people. After the whole thing, the civil servant will become what they are. In fact, I have pity on civil servants, and I am not pity them. Why? Because the hands of the civil servants are always there in the election manipulation. So we are paying for our due. We are paying for what we have put our hands into. All the civil servants in the state, every state. So I want to speak to the labor union. I think all local government will pay 70,000. They will pay that 80,000. They will pay that 100. And why? Because if every department will work, if government will allow everybody to work, I am telling you, the revenue of work department will come. The revenue of agri department will come. The revenue of health department will come. Other department will follow. But they are just getting this small money or big money from the oil. Everybody don't want to take care of anything again. That oil money is okay with the governor. The allocation will come. They will hijack it. Everything will come. They will hijack it. And you'll be talking that they cannot pay 120,000 or 220,000. For what? Me, I disagree on that. So every governor will pay. I am telling you, if we are realistic, like Dr. Dantala has said it all, if to say Nigerian masses know what they are doing, we will not take street already. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. The last attempt to do something like that led to many controversies and sour taste in the mouth, talking about protest in Nigeria. So let's just sit at the negotiation table and see how it will turn out. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Madam Yamuna.
Morning, sir. Who do you have on the line?
Dr. Dantala, good morning, sir.
Morning.
This is MD from Papu.
All right, MD, make your comment.
Dr. Dantala, I must give you a pass mark this morning. you've scratched the back of the Nigeria, the entire Nigerian, Dr. Dentala, this morning. I must commend you for a job well done.
Thank you.
Dr. Dentala, you can see we are in total mess in this, Dr. Dentala. If governors are saying they cannot pay any like 250 the minimum wage, all what they can afford is the 60,000 or 62,000 that federal government is proposing. You can see, Dr. Dentala, if you go to most of our states, you understand, in Nigeria, how many SSAs are we having? How much are they paying all these SSAs? Senior special advisor, how much are the governors are paying? The least you can find in most of our states in this country, Dr. Dentala, you have some governors have AC more than 2,000, some is more than 1,500. How much are they paying those SSAs? That they cannot pay even these 250,000 naira. Dr. Dentala, how much is senator is collecting, a single senator is collecting? Isn't about almost 2 million naira. So what are we saying? That is why I say we're in total mess in this country, Dr. Dentala, and that is why we're having a lot of setback in this country. Look at the Senate president proposing as like presidential jet in Nigeria. Is it the problem of Nigeria? What are we saying? And Dr. Dentala, look at what you are elected as like the huge amount of money being spent to change the national anthem. Is that our problem? So what are we saying, Dr. Dentala? Is that time we should be as like up to our senses, Dr. Dentala, whatever we want to do in this country? Honestly, Dr. Dentala, did you know our politicians are killing this country silently? In a total mess, we find ourselves honestly in this country. May Allah continue to see us through and rescue us in this country. That's my take for now.
Thank you. And we have this comment on our Facebook page coming from Marang Azmi, saying the uproar has subsided so they can step it down for now and then kill it later. A consultation for how many months? How did they consult before approving the purchase of their SUVs and the building of the vice president's residence? 90% of Nigerians believe Nigeria is not broke. Okay, 0903-880-8883. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Antela. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
My name is Wabali.
All right.
I keep on saying things are coming on the communities nation. You know, we always wake up the next day we face different challenges in this nation, and these challenges are always against the masses of this country. I've said it earlier on, and I will continue to be saying it until maybe the right thing should be done in this country. If not, we'll be facing these problems. And multiple are coming. You see, this amenity given to the governors, state governors, I've said it, it's too much. They are in power, superpower. They don't listen to anybody. They don't answer anybody. They go ahead and dream drunk. The next day they will wake up with a different thing, and nobody is there to face them. The state assemblies are backholders of governors and the wives of governors. The state assembly cannot do anything to the governors because they were even waiting for the governors to at least pinch a penny from what they are going to get and put in their own pocket. So the governors are not abide by whatever is happening in this nation. If not, the minimum wage assigned by the president, if the president assumes that the minimum wage should be 100,000 naira and the labor agrees, and the state governor is saying he cannot even be able to pay 60, somebody is paying 30. You know, private sectors are saying that they are going to pay 60. A state governor that is collecting his own salvation from federal government, saying that he cannot pay 60,000 naira, and private sector are saying they can be able to pay. Some private sector are saying they will pay 60,000 naira. Where are they having their own money? They struggle for their own money to pay their staff. You that they are waiting for federal government to give you are a burden to federal government. Federal government give you salvation. This money comes from federal government, and you are still insisting that you will not pay 60,000 naira. What is happening? This power, I'm telling you, democracy in this nation, if we refuse to reshuffle things and the law being made by these senators that is going to be favoring few Nigerians or those are in power, this law that they are creating that is going to favor them after the gubernatorial seat to go and retire in Senate or House of Representatives, the green and the red chambers, I'm telling you, things will never go well in this nation. Because they are implementing things that will only favor individuals, not the nation. So what is happening?
All right.
Please, this democracy is too expensive for this nation. Please, let us tell ourselves the truth. It's obvious. You know, yes, Nigeria is broke by Dr. Entala, what he said. Yes, if you look at it, that yes, we agree that we are broke because we are in multiple of debt. Nobody knows the number, and nobody knows the implication of this debt until you sit down and go with it gradually. This is what these politicians are not doing. They only need the money. When the money comes, whatever is going to happen with the nation, let it continue happening. Look at what is happening with Dangote. We that have our own crude oil, we cannot be able, we have no access to have this crude oil refined in our own country. The refinery is in our country. You have to go to another country to buy crude oil to come and refine in Nigeria. What a shameful thing.
All right.
What a shameful thing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. 0903-880-8883 is the number to call in, and of course make your comments, or you can post your comments on our Facebook page, Prestigefm91. We're streaming live on our Facebook page, Prestigefm91.7mx, and on radio, that is YouTube channel, Prestigefm91.7fm. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Who do you have on the line?
This is Abakar calling from Dubankura.
All right, Madam Bakar, make your comments.
You know, all this issue of minimum wage or living wage is something that the government can do it. And if they do it, nothing will happen. But they are not ready to do it. They want to make the people of the country suffer, most especially the workforce. Because there is no way a law would be enacted and the president assents to the law, and then any other person will come out and say he cannot do and act on that law. That means we don't know where we are heading in this country, because we take Nigeria as if that it's just animal kingdom. Because when there is a president and he said this is the way, and then another person will come and say no, I cannot, then where is our National Assembly? Where is the House of Assembly that we voted them? If we really vote them to go and serve the people, no any governor in this Nigerian that will come out and say he cannot pay what the federal government, Mr. President, assented as a minimum wage. If the House of Assembly can stood up and remove any that they will be seeing the governor, or the governor should be a threat to them. No. But because they took themselves as a let doors of the governor, and they will just shout me, but they cannot bite. No any House of Assembly in Nigeria today, a House of Assembly member that can bite his governor. No, because they are same of the same feather.
All right.
Because he feed them. Whatever he give them, they will collect. But they are not for the masses.
All right.
And they should remember, in the hereafter, God will stood them and he will ask them what they did to their masses. Let them put this in their heart. If they don't know, let them have it back of their mind. Because God will stood them one day and he will ask them whatever they did to their masses, don't be thinking that no, it's the governor. No, even them as a member of House of Assembly, they can do it.
All right.
Because this matter of minimum wage is something that's supposed to be long and forgotten. And then the government needs to come out with so many things in place, even the price control that we are talking of. If a country like South Africa, Egypt, Morocco, and other African countries can come up with price control, why can't Nigeria come up with price control? What is happening in Nigeria? Why can't us fix our light? Let us have 24 hours light so that let the government.
Thank you very much. I think that's the last call I was taking the program, Nigeria Today. Dr. Muhammad Antala Aliyu, coming from the responses coming from the callers, expressing their mixed feelings and, of course, some optimism that things will be sorted out soon between the federal government and, of course, having a new minimum wage. Some few days to come, what are we expecting the federal government to do?
Well, that is the hope of every Nigerian, that things should be sorted out and sorted out very fast, because a lot of Nigerians at the moment are in a hopeless situation. And, the capacity to do anything is not even there with the ordinary Nigerian. Many Nigerians are not well informed to even have the capacity to organize and even do a lot of things in this country. And the elitists are taking advantage of this, are taking advantage of the ignorance of the majority of the citizens to do whatever they feel they can do, allocating allowances to themselves, living posh lives and luxurious lives, and then showcasing their wealth, and then insulting the underprivileged, as exemplified by the Senate President. That tells you that the ordinary Nigerian is simply not there, he's not recognized, and until the average Nigerian is given his due recognition in this country, otherwise there's no way things will move the way it should. At the moment, Nigerians are pregnant with hope. They are pregnant with expectations, hoping that better things will come out of these negotiations of salary minimum wage. And when that comes, what follows next is how to control this inflation. Prices of food items have already hit the roof. Even before the minimum wage comes in, inflation has already overtaken it. What will you do with 70,000 naira if you go to the market? It won't buy you anything. And organized private sector too will be under pressure to increase the prices of their services. Private schools, private hospitals, and everything private will have its fees hiked up because of this issue of minimum wage. And by the time it comes, it has already been overtaken by inflation. Definitely. So I believe the NLC will just do the negotiation, but it won't have any effect on the civil servant.
All right, we are optimistic that things will sort out itself and it will be for the betterment of Nigerians. This is about the size of the program Nigeria Today. You can join us tomorrow for a fresh package of the program. On behalf of Dr. Muhammad Antala Aliyu, Ahmad Isa Sakbaya, and of course Stephen Jia, my name is Maimuna Muhammad Babangida saying good morning.